And so the first threshold issue that I think we need to confront in American education is empowering first our children to know what it is that they bring to the table as soon as we can give them valid data and valid information to begin to enable them to be empowered to plan their lives. That is not to say that we dictate to them what they should do with their lives. That is not capitalism, and that is not capitalism in the schools. What we do is tell them what is most likely to be the path to success for them. Years ago, you may remember that there was a thing in schools called tracking. Tracking was you take the bright kids and you put them in one place, and you take the not-so-bright kids and you put them in another place, and you take the less bright kids from them and you put them in another place, and there was a tremendous outcry against it. They said, that's undemocratic, it's unfair, you should lump all of our children together. And in a way, the legacy of the abandonment of the tracking process has been a reluctance to try new and innovative ways of separating our children into those categories that they can choose to be in that are most likely to result in their success. Not long ago, there was a program on television. Some of you may have seen it. Those of you who haven't, if you have the chance to find it, see it on the Discovery Channel or the History Channel or whatever, I suggest that you watch it. It is extremely enlightening. It is called The People's Republic of Capitalism. It was narrated by Ted Koppel, and it was several series long, several episodes long, and it took an in-depth look at what is going on in China today, and in the context of their evolution toward a capitalist economy, which one should bear in mind is somewhat different than a democratic society. They have, in effect, divorced capitalism from politics, let capitalism work to the extent that it's able to work in China with a centrally directed and centrally controlled government, which is a one-party totalitarian state, and have been extremely effective, as you all know, in taking capitalism into China. And for those of you who like statistics, I will tell you that on any given day, each of you have seen, used, bought, or touched something that was made in China at least 35 times. How many times do you think someone in China has seen, touched, felt, tasted something that was made in the United States? Less than once. And that is likely to continue for the foreseeable future. So we find ourselves not only in a competitive disadvantage with China economically, but one thing that came through from that series that was absolutely fascinating to me, and that is when Chinese students were interviewed by Ted Koppel, and they were asked, what is it that you find lacking in Chinese education? Bear in mind that you saw the statistics that China will be the #1 English-speaking country in the world before long, and are graduating more students than we are, and in fact they have more honors students than we have students. So if you take that and say to a Chinese student, what is it that you feel is making you stronger, better, able to compete in the world? The one thing that came through that was so surprising to me was that they answered, we don't have much creativity, much imagination. We're not allowed to be, in effect, to see things that never were and say, why not? And yet seeing things that never were and say, why not, is the key to American progress over the course of our history. We are the innovators. We are those who bring to the marketplace, who bring to the intellectual world those concepts that have not been tried and true, but in fact are new, different, innovative, and creative. That is why we are Microsoft and not China. That is why we are Google, not China. That is why we are, in effect, the technological leader of the world. The fact is that that is not something we have the right to think is going to go on indefinitely. It is not. The whole purpose of what is happening, especially in the BRIC countries, and by BRIC I mean Brazil, Russia, China, and India are that they not only want to be us, but they are taking very, very strict measures to see to it that they surpass us, while we are luxuriating in our past success and, to many respects, ignoring the challenges that the future hold for us. And those challenges have been suggested by that video. The challenges are, how do we maintain ourselves in a world where everyone wants to be us and are trying harder to become us than we are to be the best that we can be?